All right, everyone, we are back live here at the Global Amazing Shake competition, live here on the Gauntlet floor. I'm Kirk Brown.
And I'm Kim Bearden, the co-founder, executive director here, and we are having a ball. These incredible people behind us are chaperones and parents and educators from all over the country.
Make some noise.
All over the world, and they are here right now because their particular students that they support are in the Gauntlet round right here on the floor as we speak.
Absolutely, and this is the Gauntlet where the students have 60 seconds to make an impression on the judges with a variety of different situations that they're going to be scored on here. The entire time, though, they're getting scored on the firmness of their handshake, their eye contact, their poise, their confidence, their je ne sais quoi.
And some of these Gauntlet rounds, some of the stations the students had the opportunity to prepare for. Others, they have no idea what's about to happen and they have to be able to think on their feet. Because that's the way life is. Sometimes you are able to prepare ahead of time. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take you around and show you what's happening at each station so you can kind of get an idea of the pressure that these kids are under, but also what a fun, incredible experience this is. We call this our Super Bowl of soft skills.
Yes, and it really is a fun experience for the kids. It's intense, but at the end of the day, they have the most amazing time here. So
we do have students here from 350 competitors from 29 states and even as far away as Germany, Canada, Honduras,
Hawaii,
all over the world. And so it truly is a global competition. So let's take a look here at our very first station right here. So the Atlanta Olympics were here in 1996. So first the students asked to stand on the gold, but then, oh, I'm so sorry, I meant you have the bronze. But they are, how do they even handle that? But then they are asked a question about a sport. If they were going to compete in a sport, what would that sport be? What would they do the best at? And then what would be their least talented sport? What would they really struggle with? And just how they're able to have a conversation about that. But then this next station, the students could prepare for. This next station, the students were told they have to have 40 seconds to showcase a talent, but they couldn't walk in here with anything that couldn't fit in their pocket. So if there's a prop, had to be able to fit in there. Like we loved it. There was a little girl earlier who had a card trick. How clever was that?
Very clever to pull out some cards out of her pocket and really wow the judges by getting that trick done right in front of them. And we've heard singers up here. We've seen folks do step routines, you name it. They're having the ability right here to get on stage and showcase those talents, which is awesome.
Dramatic monologues,
yes.
Some have told jokes, anything to capture the attention of the judges. So right now we have a student coming up. Let's see what she's about to do.
And as she gets prepared here, you'll see she's in front of the Fox Theater, which is iconic here in Atlanta. The entire Gauntlet theme is around all Atlanta attractions and experiences. So
that's right. We're kind of going through it from the end back to the beginning, but the students, as they get on a plane and they're going from place to place all throughout Atlanta, while they're also here interviewing for different jobs at different places.
Most definitely. So it's mixed in between with that fun, the professionalism as well, but they're middle school students, so we'll make sure that they have a memorable experience. Yeah.
So if you have any students who are competing, please give them shout outs in the comments, shout out any organizations that sponsored your kids to get here. Just let them know because we'll post this later again after we're live and they can go back and scroll through and see all the support and the love that they're receiving.
Most definitely. So we'll keep on moving.
Kind of hard to hear right now what's happening.
Oh, did you want to go this way? I'm sorry.
Yes, let's head this way. Yeah. So what we're also showcasing is our ability to walk backwards and talk at the same time and not run into people. So should we bump up with that? Fortunately, we're not being scored today.
I know, right, exactly. As you see here, we are walking past the Truist station. We have folks from Truist here judging the students as well. Google, Inspire Brands. These are some of the first impression stations where they're being asked questions, how they respond on their feet, but also answer some questions that are relevant to those particular companies. Isn't that right?
That's right. And there are over 250 volunteer judges here all throughout the weekend from corporations, foundations, people who are just supportive of youth and who really want to help raise up the next workforce to be prepared, to be confident. So these wonderful volunteers from Truist today, they're asking some questions about how do you manage money better if you got a shopping problem, what advice do you give people, and so we're seeing how that goes. Excuse me,
I'm so sorry. You can head on.
Sweetheart, you go, keep going this way. But look at her. She was ready to interview on camera.
I love that.
She was ready for.
She was ready. I was like, I don't want you to miss the gong though and lose points.
I know, and lose her points. So she had her time.
Yeah.
But she was ready, and that's the example of you don't know what's going to happen
Just
next.
on the spot, ready to make it happen. I love that.
So when the students arrived, we can't see that part right now, but they had to check in at the Delta check-in counter. We have real flight attendants for Delta Airlines here today. Their reservation was lost. How did they find it? How did they handle that? And then, though, you can see where they actually come, and they're going to be seated on an airplane. How do they handle that conversation? Are they natural with it? Is it awkward? You don't necessarily have to be so formal when you sit down next to somebody. It's more just turn to them.
Hey, how are you?
You don't want to turn your whole body like it's a formal interview. Those kinds of things, because the students, while we want to judge them on their poise, we also want to make sure that it's authentic and it's natural for the situation. You have to understand your audience.
Yeah, because the kids will get in their head and think that they have to walk into every situation. Hello, how are you? My name is, and you are? And that's not the case. That is not how we move through life. And so we want to make sure that they know how to enter spaces and be themselves in each of those spaces.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it's really fun to see how the different ones kind of sit down and how naturally they just kind of try, oh, hi, how are you? That's more like what would happen on an airplane.
Absolutely.
So they're asked to use their imaginations. Now, the next stop is fun. An Atlanta icon landmark that is very famous is the Varsity.
What do you have? What do you have?
You have to go to the Varsity. Now, the employees at the Varsity are awesome, but for the Amazing Shake, we like to throw some little wrenches, some little challenges in there. So everything they order, they're going to say they're out of it. Maybe not even be so polite as a cashier, but please know that at the Varsity, they're great.
They're awesome, yeah. It's just an experience. When you come to Atlanta, you know, a lot of folks like to go there because it's been here for, I don't know how long.
Yeah, and you got to get the paper hat.
And you got to
get the paper hat. Now, the Coca-Cola station is one that the students were able to prepare for. They were told, you're going to have to give a presentation, a commercial for Coca-Cola. It can be about any Coke product you want it to be. So this is something students had to prepare ahead of time, memorize, and be ready to give.
Yes. So let's listen in and see what's happening here. So she's selling Coca-Cola here at the station. She's saying Coca-Cola is the best, right? She's kind of putting her energy, her excitement in there about the product.
Just so animated. Yeah. Even if you can't hear everything that's being said, I think that's the key, is that for these students to command the space. You don't have to, now one thing we told them last night too, you don't have to be the most loud, bold person, but still, how are you confident? How are you authentically you? How do you light up the room? And she, just then, I couldn't hear what she said, but she had such great body language.
And that eye contact was strong too.
Yeah, very strong eye contact. With all these things going on around you as distractions as well.
Yes.
So the teachers who have prepared their students to be here have done an incredible job of working with them, preparing them for any situation. Now, this is another station where students could prepare ahead of time. A brief, less than 60-second newscast about a current event, something that's happening in the world that could appear on CNN News.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, you know, CNN is iconic to Atlanta, and so the students are now at their desk doing their news broadcast that they prepared for as well.
Now, we've all been to a wedding where someone had to give a toast and it was a crisis. And so, how do you give a good toast? What do you say? How do you do it? And how do you do it for Usher, Justin Bieber, and Ludacris? That's even more important. And so here students have to demonstrate their ability to be able to give a toast at a party, a dinner party, and be able to do that with ease and grace. How do you lift your glasses together?
How do you lift your glass and give that toast? It's got to be right. There are certain words that you say. It's got to be the right length. It can't be too long, can't be too short. And so what does that look like, and does that come through to the judges as well?
Now, it is middle school competition, and so we got to do some things that are fun.
Got to do some things that are fun. We got to go check this one out.
This is the Porsche driving experience station, and it is Porsche, as we noted earlier, because I did the experience, and I made sure to know it is Porsche, not Porsche. You're welcome. So, right here, the students are told, oh, we're considering hiring you for a driver. Could you show me your driving skills? And it's hilarious because they're trying to navigate the video game, but also maintain eye contact and have a conversation.
And have a conversation. But I just love how this looks, right? So it's a video game. Obviously, you see the Porsche building at the top here, but it's a video game. Middle school students, who doesn't love to play a video game? It's a part of the competition. How do you still maintain that good eye contact, not hit the wall when you're driving because you're supposed to be giving driving lessons? So it's a lot